Let's make some minced and moist peas. Hey folks, I'm Sympathic John. I love to make food that complies with the International Dysphagia Diet Standardization Initiative, and today we're going to make peas to level 5 minced and moist. As the name implies, we want to make the peas down to a minced size, but we also want it to be moist. And so we take our cooked peas here, we just put them in the food processor, and like most veggies, when they're cooked like this, it's not going to take very much to mince them. And we just do a little mincing, we scrape, and then we mince again with our food processor because we got to get those skins kind of chopped up. And we're not adding more moisture to this because if we do, it's going to go right to a puree. And so we want to maintain a little bit of texture because people who are minced and moist, they can still do a little chewing and a little biting and things like that. So they get to have a little bit of texture. Puree is something that you just swallow right away without any more. So now that I've got this processed down nice and good, now we're going to make it come together just a little bit more, and we're going to make it that extra moist because this looks a little dry and pasty. And we want to make it so that it is minced and moist in accordance with the International Dysphagia Diet Standardization Initiative's definitions. So when people ask me, what is dysphagia? Dysphagia is the inability to swallow, and it can also include problems chewing. And so people who have a dysfunction of their swallow, there's over 40 muscles and 7 nerves involved, can find themselves in a situation where it's tough to chew and process food. So this is very close to what I would call a good minced and moist, but I want to just add a little bit of more moisture to it from my extremely thick stock to just kind of bring it together a little bit and make it just a little bit smoother and a little less sticky. And that's all I'm doing here, adding a little bit of that. It really doesn't take very much with a vegetable like peas, and that's the beauty of our techniques, is that you can adjust to the natural variability of the ingredients you're working with. So the idea is to make something that meets the standards of the International Dysphagia Diet Standardization Initiative. And how do we test that? Well, they have a number of testing methods. I have a mat here to help us evaluate it because we do have a fork test that needs it on a flat surface like that. First thing we're checking is, does it go between the tines of a fork? The tines of a fork are 4 millimeters apart. 4 millimeters is the size limit of food for the International Dysphagia Diet Standardization Initiative, and that passes very nicely. You pick it up with your fork. There are no loose liquids that are dripping under there. It is holding together. It's very cohesive. And then we want to check and see if it's adhesive. So is it going to stick inside their mouth? And when you put it on a spoon and you tilt it, it flows off. It falls off. It's not very sticky. How are you going to serve these? A lot of places want to just take them and throw them in a scoop and throw a plop on your plate, and that's not very appetizing. We do eat with our eyes first, don't we? So what I like to encourage people to do is to think outside the box a little bit and put it in a piping bag, and then you can pipe out some peas. And trust me, I am not very talented with my piping skills. I've never taken a class. And if I can do it, you can do it too. So I just take this and I cut a very small hole at the end because I don't want these to come out too big. And then I'm going to take my plate and I'm just going to pipe out some peas. You can do them small if you want to do a lot of them and just dot them on there. Or you can do bigger ones. There's nothing that says you can't have a big pea, right? And the idea is to just make it a little more visually appealing to a resident than just that number 2 scoop that sits there and does not look like anything they've ever eaten in their whole life. But with the small ones you can do a lot of dotting and you can end up with something that looks like a pile of peas next to it. So that's all there is to it. Nice minced and moist peas, very quick and easy to do and easy to comply with the standards of the International Dysphagia Diet Standardization Initiative. Thanks.